Hi, this is Arthur, and this is a summary of the story of the Archon Quest, Chapter 2, Acts 1 through 4, released in Genshin Impact versions 1.6 through 2.6. After seeing his sibling, the traveler resumes his pursuit of reaching Inazuma. The traveler speaks with Atsuko, someone who managed to escape the blockade surrounding Inazuma. Inazuma is currently going through a period of isolation as the Electro Archon has enacted the Vision Hunt Decree, confiscating visions from its citizens. A side note, the Electro Archon is also known as the Raiden Shogun, the God of Eternity. Atsuko points the traveler to Beidou, leader of the Crux fleet, as a way into Inazuma. The traveler meets with Beidou and gains passage to Inazuma after winning a combat tournament. Along the way, the traveler meets Kazuha, another Inazuman who escaped the blockade. In addition to Kazuha's Nemo vision, Kazuha carries a dormant vision of his friend who died in a duel against the Raiden Shogun and hopes to reawaken it somehow. The traveler then sails to Inazuma on Beidou's ship and reaches the city of Rito. Once there, he is greeted by Toma, a fixer and servant of the Kamisato clan. Toma gets the traveler through customs and introduces him to Kamisato Ayaka, a high-ranking member of the Kamisato clan and the shogunate government. Ayaka asks them to join her personal resistance against the Vision Hunt Decree and the shogunate. After meeting with 3 former vision holders who had their visions confiscated, the traveler agrees. Turns out, losing your vision also takes away your ambitions and much of the memories associated with those ambitions. Ayaka then asks the traveler to break out Master Masakatsu, a craftsman capable of making counterfeit visions that can fool even the shogunate. With the help of a fireworks maker named Yoimiya, they successfully do so. Sometime later, Toma is captured by the shogunate and rescued by the traveler. The traveler then flees Inazuma City to join the resistance army led by Sangonomiya Kokomi. This army is comprised primarily of Watatsumi Island forces and vision holders who oppose the shogunate and the Vision Hunt Decree. Sometime later, resistance forces led by General Goru battle shogunate forces led by Kujo Sara. The traveler also joins in. After mercenary reinforcements led by Kokomi, Beidou, and Kazuha join the battle, resistance forces win the day and shogunate forces retreat. The traveler then heads to Watatsumi Island to meet with Kokomi. After meeting with Kokomi, the traveler learns that the resistance army seems to have a mysterious sponsor supplying them. They soon find out the mysterious sponsor was actually the Fatui, who've given out artificial visions known as delusions to the resistance army. Delusions are dangerous as using them severely drains the user's lifespan, weakening the resistance forces. The traveler tracks down the location where they are produced and comes face to face with the Fatui Harbinger, Scaramouche. Scaramouche reveals that the Vision Hunt Decree was in fact orchestrated by the Fatui to weaken Inazuma by distributing delusions. Scaramouche then attacks the traveler and the traveler loses consciousness. When the traveler wakes up, he finds himself at the Grand Narukami Shrine. Turns out, Yae Miko, the head priestess of the Grand Narukami Shrine, rescued them. Yae Miko tells the traveler of her plan to save Inazuma and A. A is in fact the Electro Archon, and the Electro Archon everyone knows is in fact a puppet with a separate will, but controlled by A. To preserve herself against the passage of time, A implanted her consciousness into a sword and placed that sword within the body of a puppet. A's consciousness now resides in a place called the Plane of Euthymia, a separate dimension within the sword. Yae Miko's plan is to have the traveler infiltrate the Plane of Euthymia and defeat A there. The second part of the plan involves taking down the Tenryou and Kanjo commissions. Inazuma's government primarily consists of 3 commissions led by 3 separate clans. Yae Miko suspects that 2 of those clans have betrayed Inazuma and are working with the Fatui. After gathering evidence with a ninja named Sayu, Yae presents the evidence to Kujo Sara. Enraged by the betrayal of the head of her clan, Sara confronts the clan head who confesses to working with the Fatui. The clan head tells him the shogun is meeting with the Fatui Harbinger Signora and the traveler and Sara head over. Once there, Signora defeats Sara and the traveler challenges Signora to a duel. The traveler defeats Signora and the shogun then executes her. The shogun then allows the traveler to leave. As the traveler crosses the entrance of the palace, the resistance army attacks the palace. The shogun then attacks when Kazuha's dormant vision activates and he somehow blocks the shogun's blow. The shogun then swallows the traveler into the Plane of Euthymia. The traveler fights A when no Momori given by Yae Miko earlier activates and Yae Miko suddenly shows up. Drawing power from the confiscated visions, the traveler defeats A. After a chat with Yae Miko, A changes her view on eternity and abolishes the Vision Hunt Decree. Later, the traveler meets with Yae Miko who dumps some information on them. Yae Miko tells them that she handed the Electro-Gnosis to Scaramouche in order to save them. She originally received the Gnosis from A when A transferred her consciousness into the puppet. The Fatui Harbinger known as Scaramouche was originally a prototype puppet that A constructed and later released. The Fatui later found him and modified him, making him more powerful and appointing him as a Fatui Harbinger. Before A, there was another Electro Archon named Makoto, which was A's twin sister. Makoto died several hundred years ago during a war, likely the fall of Khaenri'ah. Lastly, Yae Miko directs the traveler to Sumeru, which is ruled by Lesser Lord Kusanali, the Dendro Archon and God of Wisdom. Sometime later, the traveler gets a commission at the Chasm, a recently reopened mine in Liyue. Hilichurls have been walking into the chasm and none have returned. The traveler goes down to investigate and sees Dainsleif. Turns out, Dainsleif was hunting another Abyss Herald when he jumped into an Abyss portal and was teleported here. Dainsleif also reveals that he used to be the captain of the Khaenri'ah Royal Guard hundreds of years ago. Dainsleif suspects that the Abyss Order is involved in whatever is going on in the chasm. As they travel further, they learn a bunch of things. Turns out all Hilichurls are former citizens of Khaenri'ah, cursed and transformed by the gods. While immortality is part of their curse, it does not mean they cannot die. Over time, their souls erode until there is nothing left. The depths of the chasm possess some strange qualities that lessen the pain caused by the curse. Hilichurls then come down here into the darkness to spend their final moments in a relatively less painful state. As they travel further, they run into Black Serpent Guards, who are cursed transformed members of Khaenri'ah's Royal Guard. Among them is Halfdan, a former comrade of Dainsleif, who seems to retain some of his consciousness. They travel on and find out that the Abyss Order has set up a device in an attempt to cure all the Hilichurls of their curse. Dainsleif is sure this will not work and finds this dishonorable to these former Khaenri'ahns. The traveler then works with Dainsleif and disables the machine, but not before Halfdan sacrifices his life to protect them. And that is the end of these quests in this video. If you like what you've seen here, please like, comment, and subscribe.